It's even worse. Oh my God. So, yeah. It's okay though.
Okay. So I want to make sure that I get through some of these review that I want to do. Well, not review, sorry, tips and details from your AP exam. So I'm going to save the checking the pages until the end of class. But if I can't get to it at the end of the class, I'm going to have you guys turn in your packet and put your name on it, and I'll just quickly flip through and I'll get it back to you on Monday. Okay, so if I can't get to, and if you're not finished with the pages from packet 4, then you can just send me the pages tonight, either email or through text remind. If you send it through text remind, make sure you text one page at a time. Otherwise, I'm not going to see all the pages. Okay, so does everybody have this details handouts? Okay. So I think I went through a big, or just kind of a general overview on the first day when I handed this out. So I just want to continue going through this. Yeah, so I think a lot of the strategies that you use for SAT and ACT can also be applied here. Make sure that you answer every question. If you, there's no penalty for wrong answer. If you're stuck between, if you're stuck on the problem, then try to eliminate the wrong choices and then make your best guess. Number 2, if you arrive at your solution without using any calculus concepts like derivatives, slope, integrals, then reconsider your approach to the problem. These test writers are creating these problems specifically to test your knowledge of these calculus concepts. So, if you solve one without using any of the concepts that we learned, then that's something's missing, right? Because they're not going to put a random question that's not unrelated to the things that we've been covering. So, when in doubt, take the derivative. That's kind of like a, no, it's not really. It's kind of true in the sense that, everything is derivative related, but that's not, that's just a good way to begin the problem. Maybe that will kind of help you discover something that you didn't see before. And sometimes sketching a graph helps. If I see a table of values, I don't know what to do. Sometimes it's just visually helpful to sketch the graph, and maybe that will kind of spark an idea in terms of how to it helps if you can visualize the problem. That should help you move to the next step. Some nice multiple choice questions that you could potentially work backwards or plug something in. Use that to your advantage. Use the answer choices to your advantage. And yeah, I wrote this a couple years ago. I said to search for the easier, quicker problems to do first. I don't know if that's necessarily the best strategy, but she's not here.
I hear Abigail Stewart. Maeve.
Maeve's not here.
Okay, thank you.
So I think the thing that is more important is the fact that we don't want to be stuck on the problem for too long, right? So if you feel like you know how to do the problem, but it just takes a little bit longer, then maybe it's good to just kind of circle back to it, right? Because the problems are not in any order for multiple choice portion, and they're not in any order. They're not in difficulty order either. So sometimes, what I don't want us to happen is where you don't get to finish the test, and some of the easier problems are stuck at the end, and you never got to work them. So just make sure that you're not trying to spend too much time on one problem. Even if you feel like you can do it, spend that time wisely. So if you think about what we did, right? I gave you guys 16 questions to do over 2 30-minute periods. So that's, 16 questions in an hour. But on the multiple choice section, the first portion is going to be 30 questions in an hour. So you're gonna have to kind of double your speed. Now, I know that for me, I had you guys do a whole lot of work, right? Because I was grading you on your work. So you're probably spending more time on it than you normally would because you want to show the work. But on the test, you want to move quickly. Obviously, they don't care about your work. So if you get to the answer, then circle it and move on. But yeah, just be aware of your time. But I think talking to students from previous years, I think they tend to say that they were okay on the multiple choice, but they actually felt that time was an issue more on the free response, so on the FRQs. So I think that's good to know, it's good to hear as well, that multiple choice, typically, students don't have too much trouble finishing it, even if it does sound like a lot, 30 questions in 60 minutes. Yeah, dy dx means first derivative, d2y over dx2 means second derivative. Make sure that your calculator is in radian mode. You're trying to do, if you're in degree mode and a problem is asking for the area or volume and there's trig involved, it's going to give you a wrong answer. So you just want to make sure that you're always in radian mode, never in degree mode, any part of the test. So my suggestion, you don't have to do this, but my suggestion is you obviously want to use number 2 pencil on the multiple choice section. But on the free response question, you can use a pencil, but sometimes pen comes out a little easier for the graders. Since they're going to be scanning all those pages and then they're going to be grading on a computer screen. I've seen some tests where it's so faint, it's kind of hard to make out what the students put down on paper. So that's just something to keep in mind. But if you feel more comfortable doing your work in pencil, then just stick with pencil. But pen does come out a little better for the graders. But that's just something they want to consider. Yeah, no need to simplify your answers. Point slope form is just as good as slope intercept form. Show your work. Watch for phrases like justify your answers, show your analysis, explain your reasoning. They may want you to show work and write out a sentence or two to explain. A derivative sign line is never a justification. So if you create a sign line for your first derivative test, the graders are instructed to not look at any sign lines. Okay, you can do it on on your paper just to kind of help you see things and let that lead to a justification that you want to make, but they're never going to look at your sign lines. Okay, so that's only for you. So to keep that in mind. Yeah, try not to use the word it, like it is increasing or the function is increasing or the graph is increasing. That's vague, right? So you want to name exactly what you are referring to. Is it f of x? Is it g of x? Is it f prime? Is it g prime? Okay, so make sure you name. Yeah, try all the sections in FRQ, even if something feels like you don't know how to do. Try to put something down, right? You may still be able to get partial credit. If you get stuck on part C, look back on parts A and B. There is usually a common thread running through an FRQ problem. So these problems are designed usually to make them connected in some way. Not always, but usually that's what holds it together. They kind of help you build from the previous section to the next section. Okay. FRQ sections, College Board likes to insert concepts like IVT, EVT, mean value theorem, L'Hopital's rule, first theorem, second derivative test as part of the problem. So it may be Riemann sums or area volume problem, but sometimes they like to stick in these theorems. So if you're stuck looking at the problem and you're like, wait, I don't know what this is, try to run through your potential theorems and look to see, are they trying to get you to recognize and connect what's on paper with one of the theorems. Okay. Yeah, if you see a complex integral problem and it's non-calculator, chances are it's a use substitution problem. Okay. And then make sure that if you're finding the derivative of a trig function that looks complicated like this, make sure you put that exponent outside the entire expression. That's to remind you that this is chain rule that needs to occur. Okay. Yeah, so when you get your first portion, which is the multiple choice non-calculator portion, go ahead and write down your 6 trig derivative rules at the top of your multiple choice test. So what I mean by that is these 6 right here on page 7. Right. 2 columns, right? The C's down 1 second column, they all produce negative derivatives. The nice thing about these 6 rules is you're actually looking at 12 rules, right? If I want to do the antiderivative of secant squared, that's going to be tangent u. So you can also put this at the top of your response portion, but typically if they're going to try to ask you to recall derivative rules, they're usually going to come from that first non-calculated multiple choice section. Okay. Yes, these are more just kind of tips for very specific types of problems. Yeah, and then pages 5 through 9 are just derivative and integral rules for you to practice with, leading up to the test, the AP exam on Monday, the 8th. Okay, I want to make sure that I go through the schedule for next week. I know many of you guys are going to be in and out of the classroom because of AP exam starting on Monday. So on my website, we're on that AP spring review page. If you go down to May 1st, starting with May 1st, I have all the links for problems from packet 5 and packet 6. So you're working on packets 5 and 6 now, right? You're all the grades should be resolved from 1 through 4 within your quiz and test grade. And I will check your packet 4. If I can't do it by end of class, I'll have you guys turn in. Yeah, I think I may have time at the end. But I have this on the board as well. That next week, I'm going to be picking out problems from FRQs. So it says May 1st, I'm going to work on the 2022 FRQ from your packet 5. I'm going to start with 1, 2, and 6. I find those to be more challenging. So if I can get through those, then I'll try to get to the other ones as well. But I'm also going to have morning and afternoon sessions to work through your packet 6. Okay, if you want to sit and have me work out those problems with you. So I have here 7 a.m. On the pages that I'm going to try to target to get to. And then I ran out of room here. I don't want to cover the screen. So in the afternoons, I'll continue to work through packet 6 as well. So if you're not able to attend the sessions, you can either be in the classroom or on Teams, but I'll also record each of them as well. So I think I should be able to get through all of in the mornings with using all the mornings and afternoons. I should be able to get through all of packet 6 by Thursday afternoon. And Friday in class, I'm gonna try to work through the remaining years from 2017 to 2016. Now, I have here for the afternoon and the morning of next Friday, packet 7. So this is it's not mandatory. It's just if you want to pick it up, I'll have that ready to pick up by Wednesday or Thursday. So there are some things that I just never quite got to in class because these are concepts or problems that don't show up every year, but have shown up in the past. So I figured I'll just spend the time, if you're not able to get to this, don't worry about it because I'd rather you focus on the packets 5 and 6. But if you have time and if you want to look at some of those smaller topics that have shown up, I will have that packet available as well for the key. And then I'll record those videos and I'll have sessions to go over that. Okay. And then on Sunday, I also want to do a help session right before you guys take your exam on Monday. So I'm going to create a last minute set of FRQs. I'm going to call it packet 8, and I'll have that ready for you to pick up on Friday or middle to end of next week as well. But, and if you want to, you can work through it on your own. I think it's a great way to sit down and if you have time to be able to just, pretend like it's a mock FRQ. I put 7 problems on there instead of 6, but I try to put a lot of different variations of different types of problems. So if you're able to kind of work through, I think that will kind of give you a feel for what it's like to work through a full FRQ without, the help of a solution key. But I will have the key available as well as I'll also do a 2-hour session on Sunday, just going over each of those problems. Okay. So your remaining grades are just packets 5 and 6. I'm not going to be able to get through all of the FRQs from packets 5, but they do need to be fully completed by I say Monday the 15th because that's when senior grades are due. But if you're not a senior, you could wait till the last day of school if you wanted to. But I'm just going to put that down as a target date. If you turn it after that, you're not going to lose any points. But if we get that out of the way, that'll be good. Okay. Okay, so next week is all about just trying to refine our understanding of all these topics, and hopefully we're getting more and more comfortable with all the problems. Now, the test that you just took, the multiple choice test, I'm hoping that I can grade it and return it to you, if not Monday, then Tuesday. And in the grade book, you have AP FRQ quiz 1, right? AP quiz 2, and then you have the AP test, multiple choice test. Okay. Now your grade is all helped with your homework, right? But let's say in the grade book, it showed a 75, an 82, and a 65. Okay. So if you come in sometime next week and you do corrections on your quiz, I can change that grade up to an 80. Okay. So if you do the full correction with the key, and I will try to put these keys once I return the test to you, you can do corrections on any grade in your grade book. That's not any grade, just the AP quizzes and tests. If it's showing below an 80, you can do corrections and make it go to an 80. All right. Okay. All right, so that's the schedule for next week. Any questions? Okay. All right, I think I have a few minutes here, so I want to see if I can just come around and check you guys off for your homework, and if you haven't finished it, it's okay, you can send it to me tonight. I just need to see page 9 through 22, so if you can just flip through 9 through 22 for me. Okay, yeah. Sure. Is this This is packet 5. Yeah. Packet 6 is the multiple choice. Do you believe that? No, I think I have it. I think that's good. Yeah, I think that's good. We have like, this is back in 6. If you leave like mouse very great. If I have it, if you don't get it.
This is what, 5?
This is 5, yeah. Yeah, 6, yeah, 6. Okay. Can you that is? Yeah. Oh, okay. Could use them. That's a little easier. Everyone on Twitch. Yeah, you guys listen. We're more conversation. Get your phone. Yeah. You adjust it. Getting it to 0. Shocking. All right, have a great weekend, guys. See you Monday. Thank you.
Is this?
There's 6, yeah, like 6, yeah.
Thank you.